You cannot touch truth, you cannot feel truth, you cannot see truth. All reality is beyond any physical perception that you have, because all physical perception is illusion created by your brain. And while at first this might seem like a weak characteristic of the human mind and body, this actually gives you a lot of strength and a lot of ability to do good, not only in your own life, but in the lives of others. And I want to show you how. I have a degree in neuroscience from Johns Hopkins University, and I've studied the brain and mind a lot. And I want to pass this information on to you in a very understandable way that you can apply to your life. And the first thing I want to do is break a couple misconceptions about the way you see the world, starting with perception. In this video, I'm going to cover what perception actually is from a neuroscientific standpoint, how your perception is influenced by your own thoughts and by the projections of others, and how you can use perception to your advantage. So let's just get right in. What is perception? Whenever you have an object out in the world and you see it with your eye, what we know from neuroscience and physics is that light comes from some source like the sun, bounces off the object, hits your eye, and this signal gets sent to your brain. That's supposed to be your brain. Your brain processes this signal and turns it into an electronic pattern in your occipital lobe located at the back of your brain. And this eventually gets sent to the conscious part of your brain in the prefrontal cortex, where you can analyze it, focus on it, and think about what you're seeing. This is true for all perception, like hearing. If someone hits the ball, it makes a sound wave that hits your eardrum, sends a signal electrically to your brain, and your brain interprets it. Same thing with feeling. If you touch the ball, that sends an electrical signal to your brain, which interprets it. And if you want to consciously focus on it, it will send that part of the electrical signal to the conscious part of your brain. This happens for everything. But the key point here is that though the reality of the ball or whatever object might exist over here, there are all of these steps that happen in between you actually becoming aware of whatever physical sensation that you were perceiving. Now, here's a key point that I need to make at this point. Whenever I say you, I am talking about the experiencer. We have everything going on around us. We have the world. We have other people who talk to us. We have everything we see, everything we hear. But on a deeper level, we also have our sense of self. This is part of the experience. And it's not what I mean when I say you. You experience your identity. You experience your body. You experience your thoughts. None of these things actually mean you. When I say you, I mean the experiencer. The one that is perceiving all of these things that feel so much like us. So that's an important point that I need to make clear at this step. So you, the experiencer, want to look at an object in the world, and you experience it through all of these different sensory modalities: sight, hearing, touching. But what you are experiencing is not the object itself. You're experiencing the translation of a signal that the object is sending to a perceptual organ, which translates it to an electrical signal to your brain, which again processes it unconsciously and eventually sends it to you. So, in the end, what you experience is only really this last translation step here. The large majority of your brain that deals with unconscious processing, everything from vision to digestion to sound to every other perceptive thing that you can experience, is processed unconsciously and eventually it is sent to you, the experiencer. This is what I mean when I say perception is an illusion. It's not a direct experience of reality, like this object. Perception is the translation of that object unconsciously into something that you, this very small part of your brain, experiences. So, the question, of course, that we should be asking is what does this unconscious part of our brain actually do? If that's the thing that we're actually directly experiencing, how is it actually translating the objects out here in the real world to something that we experience? And that brings us to our next question. How is our perception influenced? Well, let's say we have the color red. And you see this color with your eye. Okay. This red light goes to your eye, and like we were explaining before, sends an electrical signal to your brain. Um, the actual process is quite complicated and it's not even fully understood. But in its most basic form, we can say that there are certain detectors for red in your eye, and those detectors, when they are hit with a red wavelength, will activate more than the other color perceptors in your eye. And that's how your brain knows, okay, I'm looking at something red. But your brain, when you were born and you were developing all of these perceptions, when you were learning to see, there was no assignment for this color red. You weren't born knowing what this concept was. You were just born with the machinery to detect it. Over time, maybe genetically or through experience or things you've been taught, you will learn to associate this color red with a lot of different things. Red means blood. Red means danger. Red means stop. So on and so on. You have so many connected definitions with the concept of red. So every time your eye picks up this wavelength and it gets sent to your unconscious processing brain, all of these definitions are activated and selected through before they even enter your conscious awareness. Now we can think about the implications for this, for example. One of the um, one of the concepts associated with the color red is hunger, appetite, motivation. And one way people can use this to their advantage if they know this principle is by making advertisements red if they want you to eat their food. So let's say we have a sign for a company that sells food. They will make their logo red and yellow or any other colors that will activate your hunger drive so that when these colors enter your eye, they unconsciously activate this definition and make you want to buy their food. And this happens completely beyond your awareness. This is also why the same things like stoplights, wait, I think it goes on top. Stoplights, stop signs, warning signs. These are all read on purpose because they're meant to mean the same thing and trigger an unconscious definition in your mind that you don't have to think about. You can react to without your conscious processing. In traffic, that makes it a lot safer. But it's not always so um, it's not always so helpful what people are trying to do with these perceptions, and it's not always so obvious. People use this unconscious influence in a lot of different ways, and if you're not aware of it, you are completely unprotected. Since the day you were born, unconscious programs have been written over and over and over and over in your brain until they are hardwired unconsciously. They activate your decision making before you even become aware that you are perceiving these things out in reality. And bringing it back to my first point, what's so important is that these things are not even the truth. You are not even seeing the reality of these objects. You are seeing patterns in your brain that are reinterpreted unconsciously before they enter your conscious perception. Beyond things like logos and stop signs, think about your perception of other people. If ever since the day you were born, you were always told you have to behave this way in front of people. If you don't, people will judge you, people will feel hurt by you, people will think all of these negative things about you if you don't act in a certain way. And this becomes an unconscious belief. And it manifests as something like social anxiety. Even though you may have never experienced this judgment or this hurt or this negativity that was taught you would experience, or maybe you experienced it a few times and those memories really stuck with you, in reality, these things are not truth. They're not reality. They're perceptions, they're beliefs that are stored in your unconscious mind and are told to you whenever you perceive something in the world that triggers these beliefs. If you have these beliefs, you imagine walking into a store, talking to the cashier behind the desk, messing up and saying the wrong thing, and thinking that you're going to be judged. So even before you walk into this store and talk to the cashier or talk to any random person for that matter, you are already thinking of all of the negative things that will happen as a response to these negative beliefs that are implanted in your unconscious mind. Because these are associated with people, just like red is associated with hunger, um, stopping, danger, etc. You see people, these beliefs are triggered, and all of these thoughts, these negative thoughts, are automatically pushed into your conscious mind. And once they're there, you get scared, you get anxious, and you get worried that these things are actually going to happen, when in reality, none of it is true. They're just your perceptions, and all of your perceptions are illusions. So, how can you use perception to your advantage? This all comes back to this central thought or the central concept of belief. The tied associations that you have with these different symbols, like the color red, or people, or importantly, yourself. What do you believe about yourself? Because this is the primary thing that will determine how you are able to interact with the world and how the world interacts with you. This is not the you that I was talking about before. This is who you think you are most of the time. This is your identity. Who do you say you are? Identity. I am anxious. I am weak. I am unlucky. You internalize all of these identities and you associate them with who you are. These are the most powerful beliefs you can have because they influence every single thing, every single action and thought you have relating to your perceptions about the world. Because it's not just your outside reality, it's your identity within your outside reality that shapes what you think is happening around you. At no point are you just floating around without an identity witnessing the world. You are in the world with an identity. So these beliefs about who you think you are key to shaping your behavior and how other people see you as well. If you think I am anxious, every time you have to go and interact with people socially, you are going to have anxious thoughts because that's what you have told your unconscious mind is who you are. That's what you believe you are. So your unconscious mind is going to agree and send you anxiety. You say to yourself, I am weak. That's just how you identify. So whenever tough situations come, whenever you are pushed to persevere, your unconscious mind is filtering all of those hard sensations and saying you can't do it because you've said, I am weak. So your unconscious mind goes, okay, here is what you should do if you are weak. And you give up. You can't push through. You never finish. You can say, I am unlucky. And every opportunity that you have to be lucky will pass you by as if it never existed because your perception will completely filter it out. Because in your unconscious mind, you have told yourself, I am unlucky. All of these identities are simply perceptions. They're not related to the actual experiencer, who you really are. They are related to who you believe you are. So, if you want to take control of your life, if you want to take control over how other people see you, how you see yourself, and even the things that you will find available to you in your surroundings, you need to work here on these identities. Instead of thinking, I am anxious, think, I am brave. I am courageous. When something comes that I don't understand, when I interact with other people, I stand strong because I am brave. I am not scared. No, let me rephrase that. Even if I am scared, I have the courage to keep going and to push through and to interact with people or to do the thing I'm afraid of because I am a brave person. Instead of thinking I am a weak person and identifying that way, you say I am strong. And the next time something difficult comes, you will think I can do this. I will get through this because I am strong. Same thing with unlucky. Instead of thinking I'm an unlucky person, you think I am lucky. And all of a sudden, you will see things around you in the world um, that were completely there before, opportunities, random chance events that would have normally passed you by, and you will be able to perceive them. Your unconscious mind will let you see them because now you believe, I am lucky. I'm a lucky person. This is how you take control over your life. This is how you take control over how other people see you because your behavior goes through their perception. And if you believe that you are a brave person and you act like a brave person, then their brain will see you as a brave person. These other beliefs are also things that you can work on. What are your beliefs about other people? Are they judgmental? Are they sensitive? Are they negative? If you believe all those things, you are going to act as if those things are true. Instead, if you think people are positive, people are strong, people are compassionate, and you start acting like these things are true, you will find people that match these instead of people that match these. You act as if these were true, and even in the cases where they're not, your perception will filter these things out because that's what perception does. One thing I think is also really important to mention is that you and your brain can perceive such an infinitesimally small amount of information that is available within a single object. If you have a ball, for example, you have light, you have air vibration, you have structure or shape, and you have chemical composition, and maybe you can say it has a mass. These five things are what we can detect with our senses, but it is such a small amount of information compared to what is actually stored inside this object. I guess you can also say temperature, which is like the average vibration of the molecules in this object. These six things are what we can perceive. But if we think about light, light has such a large, you could say infinite spectrum to the frequencies of light. But humans can see about that much. That's all your eye can see. For sound, same thing. There are practically infinitely many vibrational rates for sound. But even if we're just talking realistically, your ear can hear so little, even compared to animals. Dogs can hear even more. There is a limit to the number of chemicals you can perceive, either through taste or through smell. Even though your smell is pretty good, you can't differentiate between every single chemical that there is. Your perception in this sense is also limited. Everything here is limited by your brain and by your physical barriers. And whenever you perceive an object, you are getting such a small amount of the true information that is there. You need to keep this into consideration whenever you are judging the world and taking it to be reality. Because just simply based on this fact that you are getting so little information every time you look around, you cannot make the deduction that what you're seeing is truth. You need to look so much deeper and so much further to find what we could call reality. So, with all of this in mind, you are not limited by your limited perception. In fact, you can find freedom and agency through your limited perception by shaping what you perceive instead of allowing it to go by completely unconsciously. Take control over your identity. Take control over your perception of the external world. Things like people, things, other concepts. Take control over your thoughts. Because by thinking something or repeating something to yourself over and over and over, you are training your mind or your brain to accept it, to believe it. Because those same neurons in your brain are firing over and over and over again. And once they do that enough, it becomes unconscious. And the next time you have a thought or see a certain thing, the same thought will come up and influence your perception. So, by targeting these three things identity, perception, thought you can take control over how you perceive your reality and, in turn, how you are able to interact with it. You can become more confident. You can become bolder. You can become the person that you want to be instead of resigning to how you think the world has shaped you. And in this way, you can also influence other people in a profoundly positive way by talking to them about their identity. If they think they are weak, if they think they are unlucky, you can tell them, you have control over your identity. Who is to say you're unlucky? So, your past experiences may have been unfortunate, or maybe your life up to this point has had a lot of downturns. But you are the person ultimately at the end of the day that is controlling your perception. And if you allow your memories and your experiences to do so, you will only repeat the same things over and over and over again. So you can be the example of someone who changed, who took control over their perceptions, their identity, and their thought, and turned their life around. And in doing that, you inspire others to do the same. This is what I'm trying to do with my videos, and I hope that you found this one helpful because this is a really powerful concept. So if you want to know different techniques to do these things, I'm happy to make a video about it because there's a lot of psychological and neuroscience research surrounding perception and how our perceptions shape our behavior and our thoughts, etc. And there are a lot of practices you can do if you really dig into this concept. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you got a lot out of this video. And it's not just about learning the concept. This is really only powerful once you are able to apply it. And once you are able to apply it, your life will just completely change. So if you want to learn more about things like this, I will do more videos relating to your mind, how it works, and how you can take agency over your life by understanding your mind and applying these concepts. So follow me for more. I'll see you guys next time.